All right, everybody. Welcome back to the already canceled podcast, where today we're going to cancel our feelings. As you can see, we got a full cast today. I got my boy Orlando, Mr. Leo, and the also extravagant and the person that we've been missing on every episode up to this point, Mr. Christopher Ramirez. So glad to have you back, buddy. Looking forward to hearing from you.
Shout out.
And for today's topic, we're going to get a little heavy. Today is December 13th, December 12th, a Mexican icon, somebody in our community or somebody who we probably grew up listening to, passed away, Vicente Fernandez. So that just got us thinking in the mood of, what we could do with that idea and what we could do for this podcast. So the topic for today is going to be a little dark. It's going to be death. Do you fear death? Should you fear death? And what you would like your legacy to be when you leave this world. So I would like to get your guys' opinions on that. And without any further ado, I would like to start with Mr. Orlando. Do you fear death?
Hell no. No, I think I don't fear death because I'm single. I don't have anyone that really depends on me. I know I have people that need me here and there, but I don't have children or a wife that need me to support. So no, I'm not fearful of death. I'm not fear of death. I just want to live my life and enjoy it and go as hard as I can until the day comes. So no, I'm not scared of death.
But even if you don't have family that depends on you, like you as an individual, it doesn't bother you to know that one day you're not going to be conscious anymore? No thoughts are going to run through your mind, or that you're not going to exist anymore?
Nope.
Damn.
And then
why? Yeah. What got you to that point? Was there at any point in your life did you fear death, or were you always just hardwired to be a savage?
I'm not a savage, for the record. Let me point that out there for anyone that's viewing this, any future job provider, or current job provider.
Fired. Anybody that he might be affiliated with. Cancel.
Hey, no, but I think so. I think my first death experience was with my grandmother. She passed away whenever she was 74 years old. I was 14 years old, so I think that kind of put me into thinking about a lot of stuff. Like, it really sucked because at that point, like, I didn't cry throughout the funeral. So at that point, I was just kind of like, I had never really thought about death or dying until that point.
I don't mean to cut you off. Did you know what was happening? Like, do you know what was going on, or were you just kind of unaware?
No, I knew it. I mean, I was there whenever she was unconscious, and whenever she had a heart attack, and then my uncle was there, and I saw when she was having a heart attack, and I had no idea what to do. So I saw whenever the paramedics came in, tried to do CPR or whatnot, took her to the hospital. She got disconnected. So that was my first death experience. I didn't really think about it much at the time, like as far as like, oh, I'm sad or how I could project that emotion. And then I think another thing is that my dad, at that point of his life, he started having all these common health problems that men in our community suffer, like high blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol, all that stuff. So at that point, I was like, man, like, if my dad were to die, like, I kind of have to become the provider of my family. At the point, my brother was, 4 years old, and then my baby brother was maybe a year old. So I think I just put into the perspective to where, like, death is something that is for everybody. You just don't know when it happens to you. And I don't think about dying every day or anything like that. I know that leaving here, I can probably get in a car accident, pass away or whatever, or even in my sleep. So I try not to think about it. So I may be fearful at points or times, like, maybe there's a scary situation, but in a general spectrum, like, I'm ready to go. Like, I'm
Yeah. He said, Jesus, take me whenever you're ready.
Hey, but it's interesting just to think about, like, even me hearing me saying this.
I'm ready to die.
I think this is the first time you've ever put any thought into it.
So, for more real content, make sure to like and subscribe.
Oh, Jesus, he threw it early today. All right. That's interesting.
What about you,
Leo? You afraid of dying?
I'm not scared of dying. Like, it's not death, and like I do consider myself spiritual and like not to be religious or anything, but like what scares me is what happens after you die. You know, like just there's a lot of, I don't know if it's conspiracies, but there's a lot of things people say that happen
When they have near-death experiences?
yeah, or just in general, but like, you know, just the thought of never being here again, the thought of like millions of years or whatever to pass by, and you're just you're not gonna feel, you're just gone. Like that's kind of like a scary point for me. But like dying, not really.
Have you always been like that, or was there ever a
Yeah,
point where
yeah.
you did fear death?
Nah, I don't
No?
think so. And I've never been to a funeral. I've never lost anybody close to me. I've never like had death around me, I guess you could say. Besides like when I was like gunpoint and shit like that, but
Oh shit! So he's seen the light. That's why he's not afraid of it. He's seen the light.
and that is true that life does flash before your eyes when shit like that happens.
For real?
Yeah.
Do you want to go into that a little bit? Like, what was your experience like?
Well, I mean,
Well, before, but just I guess I just thought about the afterlife perspective. It's kind of interesting too that you pointed that out. So I think I am fearful of that, but
because it's crazy, dude. That's
Yeah.
kind of what fucks with me. Like,
not death itself, but just what's gonna happen.
yeah,
after.
what happened? Like, is heaven real? Like,
Yeah.
Hey, true story though. But yeah, tell us about your near death.
I want to hear about your life flashing before your eyes. Like, what was that like?
well, I said the first one last time, no, at the other podcast.
Yeah, you told the story, but you didn't go like you didn't specify about. I guess what your mind went through specifically in that moment, where it took you.
Like, it's not even fear. Like, whenever you're at gunpoint, like I didn't feel fear. Like, I was just like, if it's gonna happen, the second time it happened, I even told the guy, I'm like, bro, you just do what you got to do, because he's like, man, I want to. There's two guys, and one of them like, man, I'm gonna shoot this kid, and the other one had the gun, and they're like, look, just do what you got to do.
It probably scared the fuck out of him. Like, this motherfucker crazy.
And they hit me with the gun, and they ran off. But like, when you it's not, like I said, it's not fear looking down into the gun. It's just like I guess uncertainty. Like, you don't know what's gonna happen, and like it just happens so fast that you don't really have time to think. But like, I do kind of remember like just everything like just flashing through like a quick, like my life.
Did you have like a nervous giggle after?
Nah.
No.
I had like an adrenaline rush
Yeah.
after the fact.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, what just happened? But it happens, bro.
Oh.
Hey, but I'm glad you made it out both times. So it's
I would just like to state for the record, life on the north side dangerous.
No, one time, not to, we're going off topic here, right? But I already had this truck, and it's when I lived on 1960.
On Kirkendall?
No, that other house on right off of 1960.
Alding was for
On the way to
1960
Yeah.
around there.
Okay.
Yeah, I was driving down 1960, and I wouldn't say I cut off this biker, but I got in front of him, and this dude got mad, and he passed me up, and he pulled out a 45, and he just pointed it at me like from I was driving, and I'm like, what the hell? That's crazy. I'm like, my bad.
All nonchalant. Just, oh man, that's crazy. People out here crazy.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. What worries or what scares me is after death, what really happens.
Okay, so you're not worried about your life ending. You're worried about what happens after that point.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty interesting.
All right. Now we're gonna get to the most educated man who could probably give us the best perspective on this subject. So, Chris,
Well, not the expert, but
you're not the expert, but you are.
He is a historian, so he has a lot of knowledge.
He is a historian and an intellectual. So intellectualize death for me and put it into perspective for me.
well, I mean, I guess to answer the question you asked them too was, do I
Yes.
fear death?
Yeah.
From a personal standpoint, I think I'm at a point in my life where like I actually fear death. I don't know why, but like lately I've been having these like trance like out of mind experiences where like because recently someone like really close to me passed away this year, And ever since then, like, I guess I really haven't talked about it really.
With anybody at all, or
Yeah, I mean, yeah, honestly, yeah. I don't think I've, talked to anybody about it or
have you tried to walk through it in your head by yourself? Or
yeah, but then, the topic of death always,
it becomes existential.
yeah. So my pastor passed away this year from COVID in February, and that was the first time that I ever experienced death, like, in my life. My grandparents passed away, but I was, in elementary school, so it's nothing I couldn't really conceptualize in my mind. All I remember is seeing my dad cry, and why is he sad? His parents died, but I didn't understand it then. But this year, like, he passed away. He was like, a second father to me. So whenever I think about death, or whenever, like, what scares me the most is, like, you guys, think about, like, what happens afterwards. But I think about is like once I die, like, that's it. Like, I no longer exist on Earth. And that just scares
just
me.
Accept it.
Oh, that is?
We want more after death.
Well, I think you guys can kind of make peace with it because you believe in afterlife, whereas I don't necessarily think that you do.
Yeah, like, I can't accept the fact that I'm gonna die. Like,
Because then that's it.
yeah, like,
But what, do you love living, or? I mean, I'm not saying that we don't love.
Do you like breathing every morning, Chris? Hey, Chris.
Bro, you sounded like you're
Cancel,
depressed
bro.
as fuck.
cancel, man, cancel. No, I just like,
Fucking idiot, bro.
That was funny.
like I like.
Chris,
It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. What was your question, or what was your?
Do
You like being alive?
Oh, do I like being alive?
No, do you love living?
Do I love living? Yes, of course. Mostly because I was talking to Christian earlier in the podcast. There's different points in when you experience death. I unfortunately work at the Harris County District Attorney's office. So sometimes I see murder trials for children. And so I always compare, the death of a child versus the death of, like, for example, my pastor, or Vicente Fernandez. I mean, they're like two, like, opposite sides of the spectrum. I mean, they're both tragedies in themselves that somebody dies, but you think about, like, when a child dies, like, they had a whole life to live. Mm-hmm. And I guess that's where I'm at. Like, I feel like I still have a whole life to live, and, like, if I were to die, like today or tomorrow, I would be hella pissed. like to not have had the experience. Yeah, I'll be turned into my
You'll be
grave.
dead, so it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, I guess so. But, like, I can't accept that.
Oh, don't worry, bro. I'll be sad. I'll be mad as fuck for you.
Like, I can't accept like just not existing anymore.
Not fulfilling your purpose, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, again, like, Orlando said,
but can I cut you off right quick, Chris?
Yeah, sure.
You know how you gave us all speech times for your graduation?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll just do it for your funeral if you were to die tomorrow.
Jesus.
For my eulogy, of course, I expect you guys to have, like, 4-hour speeches at my
Just
funeral.
know, the day that ever happens, I'm roasting all of you, even after you're gone. With love, of course.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like, and then, like, you see the death of an elder person. Of course, it's still a tragedy, but
They lived their life.
yeah, like, you think about Vicente Fernandez and, like,
He accomplished.
Yeah, all that he accomplished, which we'll talk about later in a legacy. But yeah, I think about it all. I think death daily.
Damn.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's something. Well, mostly because of my job, and I see all these murder cases and stuff like that. But
To that point, though, I think people don't think about it enough because we tend to trip over stupid shit that doesn't really matter when we should really be. When I think death should be on our mind more often, to where, like, we know, like, hey, I could die today. Let me not get mad over something stupid. Let me do what I really want to do and not live a mediocre life that I just don't want to live.
Especially during these times, because like we've like at least 1% of the world has died in the last 2 years of almost like 2 years of where we've lived in the COVID pandemic. But yeah, it's kind of crazy because I try to think about like, hey, don't fight with your loved ones anymore.
I'll still fight though.
Yeah, I'm still fighting too. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean it's something. I mean it's something to think about, like what you just said. But still, man, it's just I wouldn't be able to accept it. But like you said,
So
I love to.
did you thinking about death start whenever your pastor died, or was this something that was on your mind before that?
yeah, no, it
That
was
was the first time it ever hit you.
Well, I mean, other than I know it's a deeper conversation. Thoughts of suicide and stuff like that. But yeah, it was really the first time that I thought about death that ever happened to me. Like, I remember, getting the phone call that he died, and like, I just like for literally for the first time, I could use the phrase I was speechless, because I just started thinking about like he's not alive anymore. Like, I can't call him and say, hey, pastor. But like it was really hard, and it's just that thing. That's what makes me think that like, yeah, it's difficult. But like I can't imagine me passing away and my parents not being able to call me or they're gonna call me and I don't answer the phone because I'm dead. I can't think like I think that, and it makes me fearful of death. So
I have two questions. Well, a question: are you more fearful of you dying, or would you be more fearful of one of your loved ones dying? Because in one instance, they can't call you, and you be there to answer the phone, and vice versa, they won't be there to answer the phone whenever if they pass away.
I mean, that's difficult because.
Or are they both equally as frightening?
Yeah, I mean, it's both equally as frightening, because if I can't get on my phone and call my dad right now, I'm gonna be losing my shit. and I know at some point it's gonna happen. But I guess you can say I can't even accept like a loved one's death right now. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's what got me through like the whole like suicide depression thing, was like, because everyone would tell me, well, if you kill yourself, you're a coward. I never knew what that truly meant, because you really are taking your life away. And I know this is off topic, but you're being selfish in a way that you're taking your life away from people that love you. You're taking your life
you
from
end your pain, but you don't. You just bring other people with you.
Yeah.
well, it's kind of crazy too, because like you were saying right now, like whenever somebody dies, you didn't say it specifically, but it's even harder whenever a person leaves a lot of loose ends. So like, for example,
unanswered questions like why you couldn't just talk to somebody.
No, but in general, like
Makes
whenever
people
your
feel
pastor passed away, I'm sure like a lot of people didn't get to say a goodbye, or he didn't get to say goodbye to everyone. So, and then I think about it too. I'm like, it's kind of cool whenever somebody has that chance to like
Go on their own terms.
no, in the sense like whenever somebody's terminally ill, they're able to reach out to all their loved ones and they're able to make peace with everyone. But whenever somebody passes away not expectedly, it's like you kind of lose that closure, and it's kind of like where you have to find that closure on your own, in your own manner. And some people will never find it, sadly.
Yeah, I think personally why I never really discussed it, or like why it still like impacts me today, is because like, so he's the dad of my friend, of what happened. So like he was in the ICU, he was in the hospital for like weeks, and I think he wasn't for a couple of weeks. It happened in January. But I never and I regret it to this day, like not letting my pride, take over, and like not being able to reach out. Like I just remember sending him a text like, "Hey, Pastor, like we're praying for you, and I hope everything gets better." But that was like literally the last thing I ever told him. So, like, it sucked that I put my pride aside to, you know, but yeah, like it sucks that what happened, but like I would want that closure of like telling them like, you know, something else. But the reality is that, I mean, like like you said, like that's gonna happen like tomorrow. So that's why I'm fearful, because of the whole loose end kind of thing. So it's like, but you never know when you're gonna die, so you can never truly like prepare and cut all those loose ends.
Yeah, especially if you're young and you die so unexpectedly, and if it's not like a time frame or window. But what about you?
I have one
It's
more
crazy.
question.
It's crazy how much risk we take just every day.
You
Like
don't think
leaving
about it.
our house,
Yeah.
we could literally like not come back.
No, and
Every
sorry,
day.
before Christian goes, like yeah, dude, like I'm telling you, like when I see cases of murders, it's heart wrenching. Like I've gotten used to it.
Do you become desensitized to it?
Yeah, I've become desensitized because I saw the I saw the case file of that kid who died in his apartment.
Yeah.
He was left to rot in his apartment building. Like I saw the case file.
What was it? The three? It was three kids,
the
and
three
then
children.
one of them was.
And the parents got left alone, right?
Yeah. So I don't stop me if this is going off topic, but like it was an 8-year-old who was beat to death by the
stepdad.
The stepdad. Well, not even the stepdad. He was
The mom's
the mother's boyfriend.
Yeah.
Beat him to death. Just left him in the bedroom of an apartment. And they left the other two kids in an apartment by themselves, and they would only go deliver food. Like they didn't even live in the apartment. The mom and the boyfriend. So just things like that. It's like I know death is inevitable, but like for things to happen like that, it's very heart wrenching.
No, it's crazy too because it was an apartment complex, so you would imagine like people would grow suspicion sooner than what.
Yeah,
it happened,
and like unfortunately, like me being curious, you know, I'll see death scene photos and stuff, and that seeing that image, seeing that, like it was a decomposed body.
Oh, it was in the file that showed up on your desk?
No, like you can, you know,
You can just look it up? Or?
yeah, I mean I was curious to see, you know, what charges were being up against that, both of them, and it's just like it was decomposed. Like, and just imagine an apartment building, carpet, bones of an 8-year-old child. Like it was horrific, and like you do come desensitized about those things, and it's just like he was once a living human, and like he's not here anymore. So that's why I'm just like, ugh. But
I have one more question, and then we can move on.
Yeah.
From you. So what do you think? How do you think you get over your fear of death, or do you think it's a good thing to fear death, or do you think it's something you should work to get over?
I've been told that it's not good to fear death.
It's not good to fear death.
Yeah, it's not good to fear death. I've had,
but by who though? Like,
well, I mean, I've had friends tell me that like you thinking about death this often and like thinking about it like daily and stuff like that, like, it's a sign of depression. So I know it's not good to think about death all the time, because then it impedes your vision of like living, in a sense, because then you become fearful of like, okay, I'm not going to go outside or stuff like that.
Right.
But I'm not like that. Like I still continue
You
to
live
live
your life, but it sits in the back of your head.
Yeah, it stays in the burner. So
what about you, Christian? Are you fearful of death?
I would say no, just because it's inevitable. I understand that it's inevitable. I'm gonna pass away one day. Everybody that loves gonna pass away one day, and all the people who know me are gonna pass away one day. So I don't know. I wouldn't know why to fear something that I know is gonna happen. It's inevitable. If anything, to the contrary, I would like to live my life to the fullest, so that the day that I do go, whenever I do go, if it is a random occurrence or if it is, if I go in a way where I can make peace with everybody before I go, then I can look back on my life and say it was a life well lived, for me at least. But to kind of both of y'all's points, I've never had anybody in my life close to me pass away. So I don't know how I would react in that situation. I don't know if because that is something that I used to fear. I kind of was able to conceptualize it, at least for myself. But I don't know how I don't know how I would react the day that somebody that I loved died. I've had aunts and uncles died, but we weren't that close. So, and I'm like you. I don't necessarily believe in life after death. I think whenever we go, like, that's it. We're just decomposing waste in the ground. So, I don't know. I don't really. That's all I got.
I mean, it's a bleak way of looking at it, but I mean,
It is a bleak way to looking at it, but I think whatever works for you, because I think like you, there was a point in my life where it was constantly in my head, just kind of when I dropped my the faith that I was given through my family, like kind of dropping the religious aspect. Then you have to find your own what your own belief system is and how you conceptualize life, and that's one of the biggest aspects is death and life after death. And I don't necessarily think I believe in life after death, so I have to make that work in my mind.
The biggest thing about that is faith, like, because then again, it's like, everyone that believes in a certain being or higher power, what is that word with the D? Dignity or
Deity.
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 Yeah. Deity. Like, you have to have a lot of faith to believe in, like, for example, Buddhism, Hinduism. I think they believe in reincarnation.
Mm-hmm.
Those are something I was going to ask you guys about, but we'll come back to it.
No, we could start about, like, or you want to ask the question? We'll go with it.
I'll let you finish it now.
So and it's like, I think we're all kind of like in a Christian based background to where we believe in, or we were raised to believe in Jesus and salvation and going to heaven or hell. There's no in between. But
the in between is the dirt that I'm buried in.
I kind of want to add, like, to like y'all say you die and that's it, right? But then what about all the like paranormal activities and shit?
I mean, you could chop that up to the chemical stuff that's going on in your brain. Whenever you die, your brain releases chemicals, and that's, I guess, how you could try to explain some of the experiences that people live through.
On the cool, I think you need to have a whole lot more faith to believe in stuff like that.
I don't know. I'm not. None of us know. I guess we're gonna find out the day that we go, but I don't.
Yeah.
For me to put faith into something that I don't actually believe in, I think that would be. I would lie to myself.
Can I say something right quick? Like, to that point of view, like,
wait, so you just don't believe in a higher power?
No, I think we're just.
You damn.
We're just here.
Crazy.
We're mammals, and we procreate to reproduce. And
I didn't know that.
But are you atheist or are you agnostic? Where you believe there might be a higher power?
I don't think that there's. I don't know. See, do I believe in traditional gods? Like, do I believe it in not Islam, in Christianity, Judaism?
Islam or
Islam? Yeah. No, but am I guess spiritual to the point where I'm agnostic? I don't really think so. I like to flirt with the idea of simulation theory because that's pretty badass. The idea that maybe we're living inside of a simulation is. We see other companies like Meta creating simulations of this world into virtual worlds.
I saw Ready Player One. Good movie.
So I mean that would be pretty cool. So I can't say definitively there is no higher power, there is no God, because even if you go the scientific route with Big Bang Theory, it's still not all that clear and hard to prove. So both starting points are unclear and difficult to prove. But for me personally, my view on religion, it's not something that fits into my worldview.
I don't know, man. J. Cole said there is a God in one of his songs, and then Kanye West sings about Jesus, or raps about Jesus.
Yep. And historically, they've used it as a way to control people. So,
hey, that'll be a really good topic to go into the future. So
we can talk about that one next time. But it's a good segue. But
But what were you talking about, like reincarnation and all that stuff?
yeah, I was gonna. Well, I don't know if this necessarily applies to you and me, or you and I, because we're not we don't believe in life after death. But for you two,
Wait, but can I ask you, Chris? Like, do you not believe in it, or you just have your doubts?
Well, I've been going through a struggle, and I've been in a struggle with, what I used to believe in and stuff. But
it's difficult.
I think I've gotten to a point where, in my mind, it's just I don't think there is anything after death. And that's what I struggle with a lot too. I mean, I guess I struggle with the fact of death and the fact after death.
Would it be easier if you knew that there was life after death? Do you think that that's a coping mechanism that people use?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I guess,
same.
and I guess it goes with the point of Orlando of having faith that if we do accept Jesus in our heart and we can enter the gates.
It's a way for you to accept that.
Yeah, but for me, it's just like in a historical matter, in a like thinking critically matter. It's just like for me, like I've learned that we created religion as a human race to explain the unknown, but that's just what I've learned. And for me, I've conceptualized that, and it's just like I would like to believe there's a higher power.
Same. I think it would make life a lot easier.
but-
if it would give you answers to a lot of the questions that
But
you
to
have.
cut you off, because I kind of have to address this. So
Okay, but he's
you
not
know.
religious. He's just spiritual.
No,
As we
but
addressed previously.
but it's like it's like Jesus came to break religion. Like it's not about religion anymore. It's about having a personal relationship with Christ
But I mean-
and a Christian perspective.
that
Yeah.
book was written. I think we should. I don't know. If you want to go into this right now, we can.
No, I just addressed that one point.
Yeah.
You're
No, he's just
making
addressing.
you're made it a whole different thing.
I'll shut the fuck up then.
You're
Cancel.
about to get canceled.
Cancel. No, cancel. Cancel. Yeah, no, we're good.
But go with your other question that we've been trying to get through.
Right? Can you finally have?
Reincarnation. So, what do you guys think about the idea of reincarnation? Because I think that's specific to Hinduism. I don't think that's any other religion believes in
It's
reincarnation.
mostly
I thought Buddhists
Eastern
believe-
Eastern
Eastern
religions.
philosophies.
Eastern religions.
Okay. Well, I mean, life after death and going to heaven, I guess in a way would be a form of reincarnation.
I just don't get it. Like as far as like if we talk about the Eastern, specific. So I guess I'll talk about the Eastern then the Western. I guess.
Yeah, because it wouldn't make sense to just talk about one
Yeah, go
and
ahead.
then negate the other.
But I don't believe the other one's reincarnation. But I'll explain it. So Eastern, I think that'll be. It's pretty cool sometimes to think about like, man, like you had a crappy life, and it's like you kind of, if you're a good person, you could work yourself up, which is kind of like the Indian system where they kind of have different tiers, like depending.
Based on how they live.
Based on how your previous life went, that's the kind of tier system that you're born into.
No, but the Indians they kind of have a segregation, like 6 tiers. I forgot what it's called, the caste system.
Yeah, but that's based
That,
on
no,
your
that
skin
was
color,
that was on
race and skin color.
no, but yeah, but it's
No,
more
that
of
wasn't,
a
that
it's
wasn't
more
racist.
of
It's
a
skin color. That was just a level of society
yeah, it's a level of society
that you were born in.
Yeah,
So
A class system.
yes,
yeah, but it determined how close you were to the
Nobility?
faith. Yeah, yeah.
come on, my history major right here, baby. That history
We're
degree.
educated, but we still stupid except for Chris.
No, but it's so to me it's pretty cool. Like, hey, if you live a decent life, then you can either go up or down. Because I think there's 6 levels to that, and I guess in the Indian culture. And as far as
Indian?
I think it's Indian. I'm not too sure. So forgive me if I'm wrong. I'm already canceled, so it doesn't matter.
It's really a lot of Eastern philosophy and a lot of Eastern religions.
Then again, I do get my information from Reddit, YouTube.
QAnon.
No history books or anything. WhatsApp group chats. But as far as a Western philosophy, I don't believe it's reincarnation. I just believe it's your soul that goes to another
Dimension or realm.
yeah, which we would call heaven, the third heaven, because technically there's 2 or 3 heavens according to the Bible. Like the first heaven is the one we see. The second heaven is like outer space, where like, well, I won't get into detail. And then the third one is where like
The galaxies?
like where God is at. But that's that's my point of view. That's what.
Simulation.
So that's what you believe?
So what, like?
The heavens?
Yeah, and just I guess I'll go really quickly into detail, but like the first heaven is like the one we see, like the one where we fly in, the one that separates Earth and outer space, and the second one is like to where, because at the end of the day, like to me, like it's a spiritual battle, like so there's demons and there's angels that are fighting each other. That's where it kind of the second heaven exists, and that's why they say like you need to keep on praying because there's demons like fighting against your prayers and whatnot. Anyways, the third heaven is where God is, and His presence is at, and all the angels and stuff like that.
It's pretty interesting.
That
What
would
about-
suck though.
I don't know, bro. I'm in a debate, like between there's really nothing, and there's a heaven. I mean,
It's if you ever do go into that's really nothing, that's a tough conversation to have with yourself. I will say.
Yeah.
In a way, it is like I feel like it is like a coping mechanism. It gives people something to hold on to, something for them to try to live a better life.
What answers a lot of the questions to life that you're looking for already. It's prepackaged answers. If you abandon the religion or the culture to which you were born, then you're in a void. You're looking for those same answers. You're trying to answer those same questions. So it's a bit of a journey.
Crazy.
Difficult.
So what about like what does reincarnation mean to you? Like as far as the Eastern philosophy, like as far as like Hinduism or
It's essentially a cycle, basically. I mean,
Well, yeah, I mean,
you think that's cool or what?
I don't know.
well, I don't think that's a very like that's someone's culture.
Can I just say
if that's cool or not.
Hey, we're Western. We're already canceled. So you know what? I won't apologize, okay? Because I won't mean it.
No, it's
Wait.
fine.
you weren't raised Catholic, were you?
Well, I was raised Catholic, and then my parents converted to.
This turned from
Well,
death
I'm just curious.
to a religious fucking.
And then
And then we converted to Christianity.
okay, I was raised Catholic. What were you raised?
I would go to Catholic church every once in a while, get the blessing on the water, and then the agua bendita, and then I turned 6 years old and we became Christian, or we converted to Christian, or I was a little kid, so I just say I grew up Christian.
And then you, Leo?
I was Catholic, and then we turned Presbyterian when I turned like 10.
All right.
10 or 12.
I would just like to say, I think getting back to the idea of reincarnation, that would fucking suck. You gotta live.
You'd go
you
down
gotta
like 3
live life
stages.
over and over and over again, and go through the same problems and the same crises.
But I don't think you would remember your previous life.
Yeah, bro, but it's never ending. Like it's just life. If like the Buddhists say, life is
Bro,
suffering.
if I knew I had more than one life, I'd be like a thug in one of them. Then I'd try to, I'd pick and choose just so I could try.
But
would you
but
be
this
mad
one-
at yourself in the next life if you got born into a shitty like family or a shitty
No,
system,
imagine from being a don to the peasant. Dang.
and then having to climb all the way back up the ladder?
Well, I guess that would be a self-realization that like the
Damn, I
life we're
fucked
living. No, the life that we're living is a reincarnated life, but we won't know the past life. It's just like, oh, my life is the way it is.
What are your thoughts, Chris? Like on all that?
reincarnation and stuff like that.
Yeah, like the Eastern and then the Western philosophies.
Oh, in terms of like if there is an afterlife or what is afterwards.
Yeah, I think that's where the question kind of
Well,
branches.
Yeah.
out to.
specifically reincarnation.
So I guess to put a subhead on what we've been discussing is if whether there is life after death or whether there is reincarnation after death. In my opinion, I grew up Christian, so I have been told that there is an afterlife and that that our soul becomes separated from our body, and it goes into heaven or whatever. And then you have your reincarnation, which is it makes sense, but I wouldn't have enough knowledge to go in depth in it. I just know that it is an Eastern philosophy, and that it is the circle of life, and that's why they really not glorify, but they have respect for cows, because because cows are supposed to be in Indian culture reincarnations of family members and stuff like that. So it is an interesting topic, but not one that I would be comfortable to talk about. But it is a I think it is a very niche and very interesting topic about life after death.
Chris, you're already canceled, bro. Don't be afraid, man.
No, because I mean, it's just, I mean, it's pretty. I guess you can say it's pretty gnarly. The thought of, you know, once you die, you know, in a sense, you keep on living.
That would be terrible.
Yeah, because
Jesus Christ. that would suck.
But you know, to talk about what you had said, if you know, if life is a simulation, and you know, we're just,
It's an interesting idea to think about.
Well, I mean, it's a idea that has been talked about in philosophy. There's a Greek philosopher, Descartes. I don't know if you've heard of him. Well, he introduced Well, he introduced the idea that
Simulation.
the life that we live. Well, think about it. It's the 1500s, I think. And he's thinking about life perception, whether the mind is separate from the body. If you cut off your arm, are you still the same person? Kind of deal.
I mean, to this day, nobody can explain consciousness.
Yeah,
The only
so
mammals that
it's a
experience
very
consciousness.
he's a very good philosopher in thinking about that. But he does kind of dabble in the is life a simulation, because he talks about
Is what you perceive to be life real or not?
yeah, because he says, well, there's the demon theory that the life we're living is not a life we're really living, that it's demons projecting the life that we're living, and it's not the true life. So it's just an interesting, you know, diversion of life and death. But you know,
Well, can I say something that just brought back a mentality or an idea I had as a little kid? It's probably like 5-6 years old.
Enlighten me, Orlando.
No, there's no enlightenment here. It's just
No, brother, enlighten
I
me.
thought I was I pictured life as of like I was an old man and I was telling my
Your younger self.
my
Wisdom?
my children or my grandchildren about my life. So I thought there was like a bigger Orlando describing every single detail that happened throughout his life, like the good, the bad, and the ugly, with no filter.
Okay.
So I thought like I had already lived life, and I was just saying everything little detail by detail. I don't know. It was kind of funny that I just remember that.
yeah.
Okay. Just to follow up on that, what was it that you were telling, I guess, your younger generations about your life? Like, what was...
No, everything. It's like I could tell them like on December, today's the 12th, right? December 12th, me and my friends we recorded episode 5. And we talked about this, and I'm telling my grandchildren or my generations
Yeah.
like these little small details that we're living in right now. Another one was like, what if life was like, what if you were born as an adult and then you just died as a child, so you reversed it.
I mean, you
Benjamin Button.
kind of do, though. I mean, as you get older in age, you revert to being more like a
No,
child
but
than you are as an
but I
adult.
speak in a physical standpoint.
Okay, not a...
Have you
Well, I
seen
guess-
that movie?
Which one?
The Curious Case of Benjamin Button?
No.
No.
That's exactly what it's about.
Yeah. Well, he lives in different ages of his life.
Sporadically?
I think so.
Send it
right?
to me out.
Well, he's born as an old man, and he like his life starts as an old man, and as he grows, he's becoming younger and younger. So he like I don't really remember the movie, but I do remember that he finds love when he's old as hell. So and then he progresses to become as a kid, and that's when like he dies.
Yeah. It's a very interesting movie.
Look it up. Yeah, it's interesting.
All right. Well, I guess to wrap up the idea of death and the topic of death, I guess the last question I would have for you guys is, what would you like your legacy to be after you die? Regardless of how we feel about it, whether we're at peace with it or whether we're not, it's inevitable. So whenever your loved ones who you leave behind reflect on your life, or you in your last breath, whenever you reflect on your life, what would you like that thought to be?
This is gonna be super corny because I'm a huge wrestling fan. Like, I came out on TV too.
He's not the only one.
No comment. I was the star of that segment right there.
They were pointing at this big nose, baby.
But I've always dreamed of being like the world heavyweight champion. You know, like just being that that top guy. That of course wrestling is fake, so all the haters,
It's
you
not
know.
fake. It's scripted. There's a difference.
Okay.
You can't fake a suplex.
Thank you. Yes, you
You
can't.
can't fake choke slamming somebody through a table.
So all their haters.
You can't fake
you
jumping
can't,
off a
nope.
16-foot ladder.
What?
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 Give me some beers. We're about to chug them right here.
Shout out Stone Cold Steve Austin. Hey, no, but in all seriousness, like, yeah, that's where my legacy is. Like, you know, I want to be like, I don't want to be famous, but at the same point, it's kind of ironically that I want to be like the world champion. So like people know who I am, that I was the best in a scripted sport. Or sometimes like I went through the phase to where like a sports player, like whether NFL or I'm not too huge on basketball, but soccer, it's like you're the best. So it's like, you know, whatever Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, whatever, like Peyton Manning, Tom Brady are gonna feel whenever they die. Like they have that big legacy. Even like Chente, like where he's like I don't know if he's the best, but as
He's
far
definitely
as
the most influential.
no, can I
Yes,
finish?
yes, I'm sorry.
Like damn, like don't cancel me
Hey,
already.
we're not. No offense, but like we're not gonna take criticism from somebody from Central America, buddy. We'll criticize ourselves, okay?
Chente
For real.
influenced all of South and Central
I know
America.
you're by association, baby, but come on, come on.
No, but I'm saying I don't know who's like the best person or like because you know of course like any single person has scandals or whatnot, but we know like at where he was like the greatest, like where he had the talent, where he had everything, like people are gonna have his music forever. And it's like I read a Twitter post where like man, he was there during our good times and during our bad times. And so it's like that song like where he says like cuando yo me muera van a llorar y llorar. I'm like damn, that kind of like he kind of predicted his own death, you know, in a sense. But
Yeah.
so a legacy to me is just like, you know, just people admiring who you were as a person. Because I mean, even criminals or thugs get mi hijo fue un niño muy bonito, muy bueno. But I really genuinely I just want to be a good person. I want to be honest, straightforward, no BS around like who I was or whatever, and let it be.
So I have one follow-up question. So in regards to being, I guess, the heavyweight champion of the world, do you want that to be with your family specifically, or do you want to reach an audience outside of your family and people at large?
As far as like the world champion, I wanted to be it,
Or just
like
people who remember
like
you.
in the WWE, like that's what I meant, like not in life. But honestly, like I really don't care
It's a
about.
metaphor, but okay.
It was I didn't use it as a metaphor, you know. I legit. So WWE, if you think I have talent here, if I have good mic promos, whatnot, like at these thick legs.
If we get 100 subscribers, I'll let Orlando suplex me through a table, and we'll record it.
So make sure to like and subscribe this video.
Yes, sir.
But I guess that's a pretty cool metaphor to think about. Like, no, I just care about what my family and close people to me think. Like, I think I live my life as far as like, if you don't pay my bills and your opinion doesn't matter to me, unless if you're being all nice and genuine, you know. But I don't take everybody's opinion into my life. I don't consider everyone's opinion. So same thing as death. Like, you know, to me, it's just like my family. I hope to outlive my parents, because I think that's every parent's dream to not outlive their children.
Yeah.
But if I don't, then I just want my parents to be like, oh, he was a good son. And if it's not, then I want my children to say he was a decent father. I don't know how I'll do as a parent, but
Talking shit before you even get there. Goddamn, we're like,
it's 'cause you gotta set the
standards low.
low.
So you can
Yes,
overachieve.
wrestling promo 1-on-1s. All right,
Yes,
so
sir. All right, Leo.
but yeah, that's me.
I guess similar for you. What do you want your legacy to be whenever you're no longer on this planet?
I've never really thought about what I want my legacy to be. I just know I want to live a good life. I want to be a good human. So I try to live my life trying to be the best person that I can be and just improve off of that. Damn, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know specifically what I would want to be remembered for. I just want to be a good person. Oh, and live my life to the fullest. Like, just when I'm on my deathbed, really not look back and be like, damn, I should have done other things that, have no regrets.
Can I ask you a question though?
What?
Who's gonna get all the boots?
I don't know, my kid.
The man got 20 pairs of boots and they're all expensive as hell. Go, write me in
All
there.
I know is that Leo is already a legend. El Don Leonardo
Castoreña. No el Don.
Contreras.
No el Don. El Rey.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
El Rey de Odin.
El Rey de Odin.
Yeah.
All right, so same. I guess now next to you, Chris. What do you want your legacy to be whenever you leave this world?
You know, like it's very like what Orlando was talking about. Like,
WWE.
no, like
Did you want to be world heavyweight champion too?
no, I did not. I never believed wrestling, even as a kid.
No wonder he doesn't believe in God, bro.
Damn.
If
He
you
lost
don't,
his faith young.
if you don't believe in Vince McMahon, I doubt you'll believe in God.
No, but
Never doubt Vince.
Remember when it was Vince versus Trump?
Hey, no cap. I would have rather voted for Vince McMahon for president. That would have been dope.
Hey, but my president, he's a winner.
He ended up shaving Vince, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That was
remember.
funny. Sorry,
It was a
sorry, Chris. We keep
it was-
on
It
interrupting.
was, it was a toupee, but okay.
okay.
What would you like your legacy to be, King?
Like if I were to die today, I would have hope to have left the perception that I was a nice guy or that I was a good guy.
I don't think it's a perception. I think
Yeah.
that's pretty.
Okay.
It's a reality. I think we all think you're a really nice guy.
And really nice sometimes. Too nice sometimes.
Yeah, sorry.
To a fault.
Yes.
To a
Sorry. But because again, like before we were talking, before the podcast started, we were talking about the legacy of Vicente Fernandez. And I was telling everybody, I was like, he literally is going to live on through his music. Like,
Immortal.
yeah, because it's going to feel like he never passed away because, like, we're going to listen to his music no matter what. Every 15 in the future, every wedding, every time te quieres poner bien pedo, you're going to put on a Chente song, things like that.
Every time we get our heart broken because we're not heartbreakers.
Yeah. Things like that. But to his family, it goes beyond the music, I guess. So in a way, the way I look at it is like my legacy can be as big as it can be, as big as it, could be. Like, I can be licenciado, 1-800 Ramirez.
You can't be. You're gonna be.
Shout out.
Like I can be the Texas Hammer, and if I pass away, people are gonna be like, oh, or if I become president or whatever, oh, he passed away, stuff like that. But I'm not. I'm talking more in a sense of like,
I mean, if Trump won, I'm sure my president can, my lawyer can win too.
if I do become to a point where I leave a big legacy and I impact other people's lives, like, good. But I guess like what Orlando was reiterating, the people who are mostly going to be affected and who I would really have impacted is my family. And whether it be my parents, my future children, I want them to say, I had a good son, I had a good dad, or an okay dad. And I really care about my last name. Like I really, or our last name, because you think about, what do you want your legacy to be? Like
Your family name?
is my family name. And for me, it's really important because like I think about my dad was Ramirez, my grandpa was Ramirez, and you think about the intergenerational stories. Like my grandpa was just like a lowly farmer in a pueblo in Mexico. And then my dad, he was a car painter, working all that. And then for, his son, me, to be an attorney, like that's insane.
Shout out.
So I want my legacy to not just be about me, but, I'm going to tell my kids, look, hey, your grandpa was, a farmer, poor as hell. And then your grandpa, he worked hard in the sun and stuff like that. And, I want you, I will tell my future kids, and, the Ramirez name is, bien chingón. and that for me, like, that's why, like, at the end of the day, my legacy can be as big as it could be, but at the end of the day, like it's just the people who I care about that it's big. So that's what I think.
Before I close, I want to ask one question.
Again,
Yeah.
No,
So,
but you need a
okay, so I'll ask it after I go.
yeah, you have to go.
Okay, so
What's your perspective on it?
I guess in terms of my family,
Because Guzman's already a popular name out there. You know?
but no association, no association. But maybe I should change my family name so that we can start a new tradition, a new generation of prosperity, not associated with any negativity. But as far as I guess on my death, I'm looking at this from a personal perspective. So the day that I die, I really just want to look back on my life and say, I lived it the way I wanted to live it. I didn't live it the way anybody expected me to live it, because I know we have our family or parents have a certain idea of how they want us to live our lives. I might not necessarily agree with that. So I want to look back on my life and say, nah, I did that shit the way I wanted to do it, and that's fine. I know at the end of the day, we're all going to have regrets. It's inevitable. But as long as I was aware throughout the process and I'm okay with it and I did it my way, I'll be happy. But in terms of my family, I can't say I would want to be I do want to be a good person, but I am an asshole. So at the end of the day, I would just like my family to say, damn, he brought the giggles, he brought the smiles. Every time he was around, we had a good time. We shot the shit, and we just kept it lighthearted, and we had some laughs. And the day that I'm gone, hopefully they can reminisce on that, and they can continue that tradition, I guess.
Yeah, that's a really good outlook.
Yeah. Don't like to dwell on a negative. Rather focus on the positive.
What was your question?
Do you think your legacy is going to be dependent on your children, or do you think it's independent of your children? Even though none of us have kids at this point. Allegedly.
Well, I mean, I think well, I guess it depends how like closely knit your family is. But I guess because I don't know, because there's that saying that don't blame me for the sins of my father.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess there's gonna be like a connection no matter what, in terms of like, you know, father, son, whatever thing. But I would hope that they, you know, would look at my life.
But I'm saying from your perspective, do you think your legacy, like going back to the idea that Vicente Fernandez is gonna be immortal through his music, do you think your legacy is gonna be, you're gonna be immortal through your children, your grandchildren, and as generations continue?
Oh, well, I would hope so. But I know at some point, I think there is a statistic that after a certain generation,
your name's forgotten.
Yeah, your name's forgotten, and that
I don't even know who my great grandpa was.
That your existence is just like. But I mean, you're talking about like hundreds and hundreds of years. I have tried, you know, trying to go back to, because I can only go back to my dad's grandpa. So that's my great grandpa. Yeah. But you think about it, my grandpa was born in 1918.
Your dad's grandpa?
No, my dad's dad was born in 1918.
So his grandpa.
So my dad's grandpa must have been born in the 1800s. So you think about that. That's a long time. And you think about Mexico, the records aren't as
everybody has the same goddamn name.
Yeah, and my grandfather's records were lost because I think it happened during the Civil War. The Civil War in Mexico. So I think with technology and further on, like I would like for myself to be remembered in my future. But I know at some point it's gonna.
You're gonna be non-existent.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you guys?
Well, I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like I know you said a bunch of names, and then I kind of just started thinking about like, man, like Trump. Like
I like the way everything reverts back to Trump with Orlando.
No, but it's like the Trump name. Like the Trump name is, you could trace back his parents like up to like Trump's great grandpa or whatever. Like
they changed their name though.
Huh?
They changed their name. It wasn't Trump. It was Trump.
No, I know, but like you can still
track it.
You can still trace back that. Same thing with the Kennedys, but the Kennedys have more of a negative connotation to the last name just because of a lot of the sad tragedies that have happened within the family. I was thinking about some more names, but I won't derail too much. But At the end of the day, to me, it's like, I live my, like, as soon as I live my life, it's, once you're dead, it's like, does it really even matter? Like, so that's my perspective. It's like, once you're dead, it's like whatever happens on earth, it's like you can't control. And I joke about this a lot. It's like, I know, like, I don't agree with a lot of the ways that the U.S. debt is increasing, and I'm like, I laugh about it a lot, and I'm like, let my future grandchildren worry about that.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't scare me. That's just my perspective. It's like, if I'm not here, then
You have to worry about it.
yeah, because it's like I think we could be concerned about it, but I'm not gonna be paying for that. Like, realistically,
Yeah.
Selfish.
but it's like, but it's not my decision. It's
tell
just
the
my
boomers.
point.
We're gonna be dead.
Tell the boomers that's what.
So I'm just saying, it's like, that's why I think a lot of people, or a lot of kids' arguments nowadays, or I think whenever we were kids, it's like,
Yeah.
what can the government do to help us out in the future? And
Yeah.
for us, I don't think our government has helped us out a lot. I think the government that was established during like the World War II or so, it helped a lot of the baby boomers out. And now the baby boomers kind of screwed us. So to me, it's just like, you know what? We're probably going to screw so
Our
many
future
generations.
Yeah.
And so as far as my legacy, it's like, I want the name Saravia to be popular. Like, that was my grandmother's last name. My grandfather's last name is a different, but I'm like, man, like Saravia, like, because a lot of people call me Saliva, Saravia, all types of different
Oscar.
things. Well, my last name, it's really mistaken too, but I do have a lot of pride of my last name too, because just similar, like you said, my dad grew up in the fields, 6, 7, 8 years old, working already, and just to see where he's at today, and just to see where I'm at, and I hope my brothers do better than I do, and so on and so forth. So a part of me cares, but another part of me is like, once you're dead, it's like, what does it really matter?
Yeah.
But
Leo.
I don't know. It's crazy, like listening to Chris talk about like his great grandfather. Like I don't know anything past I don't even know about my grandparents either side. Like my mom's side, I just know that they were dirt poor. I know that they lived like in a cardboard box. My grandpa was a mechanic, and my grandma was, I don't know, she sewed stuff, I think.
Seamstress.
Yeah, seamstress. And then my dad's side, my grandma was a stay-at-home mom, and my grandpa was a farmer and a business owner. So that's all I know. Further than that, I have no idea, right?
Yeah.
And then my parents, well, my mom, she's self-employed, and my dad really he was a business owner. But like, I don't really think I care for my name to be remembered. I would like to, whoever comes after me, my kids, I would like for them to be well off, for me to be able to provide for them and leave them like good principles and have them financially set, I guess you could say. But other than that, like, I really don't care to be remembered. I just want to be a good person, live a good life. I don't really see why I would want to be remembered.
Yeah. I think I kind of hold the opposite view of what you do in terms of your family name. I don't really necessarily put a lot of emphasis on my family name.
Yeah.
I think we've all kind of had the same experience where we can't trace our lineage that far back. I only know one of my grandparents, my grandma, 3 other grandparents died before I was born, and I don't know anybody's name other than one great grandparent. So
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think that there's a big emphasis on my last name or my kids carrying my name. I think, kind of reiterating what Leo said, I think it's more about the principles and the foundation that you give your kids as opposed to the name that they carry. Even over time, it might wither away, but at least there's a small piece of you that will carry on through the generations
Yeah.
until it's forever disintegrated.
No, and I didn't mean to like say like all I care about was
Yeah,
was highlighting my last name.
He said Ramirez son chingones.
he's like,
Yeah, but
he already
like,
said it.
but-
1-800 Ramirez.
Nah,
Make
nah.
sure to
But like,
make sure to
I
call.
get
what I'm
coming
trying to
from.
carry is like, not that they're only proud of their last name. It's just like
You want
we're all
where it started to where it's going.
Yeah, we're all like, I have traits of my dad and my grandpa, and like I would have liked to see how my grandpa became the way he was and how my dad came the way he was. So it's just building upon, generation and generation. So like Leo said, like I have learned a lot of things not to do what my dad has done. And then more so because I don't know if you guys discussed this in a podcast, but like
that's how I know it.
They
didn't watch us.
like they've raised us in a way that was completely opposite in the way they were raised in terms of like where they grew up and stuff.
My parents raised themselves, so yeah. Literally.
But that's a whole different
it's
topic.
like it's like the same principles but in a different setting.
Yeah.
So and
Maybe.
they did the best they could.
Yeah.
I guess maybe you could tie that into the idea that we were talking about earlier about reincarnation. Maybe it's not a literal reincarnation, but a reincarnation of principles and a reiteration of instilling those principles in the next generation.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe, I don't know. I like that.
It's a very deep hole that we could dive into, but
For sure. But, I mean, is there any last thoughts anybody would like to add about death or what you would like your legacy to be?
It would be pretty cool. Like if you're viewing this, just type up your comments and see what's your perspective about death and all that stuff. So, I enjoy reading some of the comments. So if you can just show your feedback and what you think about death, because I know our perspectives are kind of similar but so different at the same time.
yeah.
They might be similar, but we arrived to the conclusion differently, I guess. But going once, going twice, no closing comments. Well,
I mean,
Like and subscribe.
yeah, like and subscribe,
Share.
It really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. I don't even know if it picks it up or not.
all right. Well, thank you guys. If you watched the whole thing, if you watched clips of it, I guess, still thank you for the support. And we'll pick an interesting... If you guys want anything specific you'd like us to talk about, put it in the comment section. We'll consider it. And
No guarantees.
no guarantees because we do this shit on the fly.
We changed the topic right before.
And please,
we changed the subject like literally 5 minutes before we started shooting.
No,
But
we have this like we have it concluded like, hey, we were gonna talk about this, but then
We had it laid out.
And please do not ask me for free legal services.
yeah, please don't hit up my lawyer about or my soon-to-be lawyer about legal services. He is for the squad only. Mind your business. That being said,
We're out.